Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode at Luther Marsh Organics. We're in the middle of winter. This time of year, I do a lot of the maintenance and repairs. Now that the lake effect snow and big winter storms are pretty much over for at least the foreseeable future, I'm going to pull apart the BX and do some maintenance and repairs on it while I have a chance. So I'll flip the camera around and show you what I'm up to. So here we are, the BX2660. Right now I have the blower and the front end loader off just for easier accessibility, but this is the snow removal machine this time of year. The task at hand, I got to replace the radiator. This is the original, but unfortunately in the summer I picked up a stick and it poked a hole. It hasn't been leaking, but it's probably going to leak soon, so I'd rather do it this time of year. And then while we're at it, we'll probably replace the glow plugs. There's 3 of them there. And the serpentine belt, which is down here. And I'll bring you along the way, so let's get at her. First things first is drain the coolant out of the radiator. Here we go. So here's the progress so far. I got all the paneling off the tractor. It gives me full access to the engine and radiator. I've also removed all the hardware holding the shroud on, upper and lower hoses, coolant's drained, and in theory this radiator should just pull out, leaving the shroud behind, which gives me access to the serpentine belt. And I'm going to replace the thermostat as well. This is the thermostat housing here, so then everything will be cleaned. As you can see, over the years, lots of debris built up despite blowing it out frequently. All right, here we go. So my theory was correct. I was able to pull the radiator out, leaving the shroud behind. Here's the old one. As you can tell, there's the damage that stick did in the summer. Somehow that didn't leak over the last 3-4 months. But the amount of cycles this engine has had and this radiator is probably due for a fresh one. And in the meantime, I'll clean out all the debris and do the other work that I stated earlier. All right, here we go. All right, here's a progress report. I got the old serpentine belt out, just had to disconnect the drive shaft that cools the hydrostatic transmission. And just doing a comparison, old to new. So the new one's on the left. Here's the old one. As you can tell, let it focus here. See the cracking in the cogs, as well as the wear on the sidewalls. And then here's the new one. You can see there's no cracking in the cogs. So it's a good thing I'm doing this now, because this didn't have much life left in it. It's the original, so it's 15 years old, 1,600 hours. So go ahead and replace this. It's a lot easier with the radiator out. So here we go. All right, next up is the thermostat gasket and the thermostat itself. So here's the housing right here, 2 fasteners. Simply unbolt those. This housing pops off. There's this thermostat down there that gets replaced, along with the black gasket that's on the underside here. So we'll get that swapped out, put back in. All right, here's the old radiator. And I transferred the aluminum bracketry onto the new one, so the dust screen can slide into the new one. Now we'll just slide the new one in the tractor and hook everything up. All right, so we got the new radiator put in and installed. The shrouds all back on. Expansion tank. I ordered new upper and lower hoses, so I'm waiting on those, which will get one connected to the thermostat, one to the bottom of the block there. Next up, we will do the 3 glow plugs, which are located on top here. All right, so we are removing the 3 glow plugs. So 1 liter diesel with 3 cylinders. So I've cracked the first one loose. Here's the second one. And then lastly is the third one. Spin out the first one. And then I'll show you up close Here's first glow plug coming out. Wires there. Okay, here's the first glow plug coming out. Then we'll replace it with a fresh one.
Let's see you.
And then we'll do a new.
They are rusty.
Yeah, that's why you do it. Here, Dad. Let me see that. Here's an old versus new comparison. All right, all three glow plugs back in with the top plate and ground connected. There we go. All right, we're in the final steps of this repair. So I put a brand new upper hose on. Clamps are tight, both ends, as well as the lower. Now we're going to fill it up with coolant. And then I'll show you how to bleed the system once we start it up outside. This is the coolant we're using. Here we go. All right, I'm just going to fill up the radiator and expansion tank with this AMSOIL heavy duty pre-mixed ethylene glycol. When I fill these up, I'll wheel the machine outside to start up, check for leaks, and then bleed the system. I'll show you how to do that shortly. It's already put about half a jug in there. I'm onto the new jug. Now I'm just filling up the expansion tank. Again, checking for leaks. So those two are full. I'll wheel it outside and start it up. All right, now that we're outside, we're going to fire it up. All the fluids are good. We've got the cap open, so it's unpressurized. That'll help bleed the air out of the system. It's the highest point in the system. So we'll go ahead and fire this up. And then we'll check for leaks while we're running it as well. Just bump up the idle a little bit. 1500. We'll just check our hoses. Not seeing any leaks. Good. We'll just monitor the level of the radiator expansion tank. All right, a quick update. I've been running the tractor for about 5 to 10 minutes. Temperature's holding, the system has been bled, there's no leaks. This is back in service. I'll save you the boring part. We'll put the panels back on, clean it up. Until next time, see you later.